Have you guys ever wondered why you feel a certain way throughout the day and you have no idea why, either stress or anxiety or any of those things?
Years ago, after shortly moving into our new home. We had both recently read a book called The Hidden Messages in Water about a man who studied the crystal shapes of water after being exposed to different circumstances. He found that water, after being exposed to positive words like love, wisdom, and truth, froze into very beautiful and very attractive crystals. But on the other hand, he found that very negative words had the opposite effect, forming very ugly crystals. And since our bodies are made up of around 70% water, this lends a lot of credibility to the idea that the words we use and the words that people use to us can actually physically manifest in the way that we look and feel.
So the article is a recipe for trouble, and it's talking about the cancer cells. There's a critical set of ingredients needed for a cell to turn cancerous, which we've previously explored. A cell that's capable of growing uncontrollably collects mistakes in its DNA code. Ooh, now that's deep. Which I'm going to talk about that in a minute, which cause a gene or set of genes to go awry. If the cell also loses certain safety mechanisms, it pushes it towards cancer. It's like cutting the brakes on a speeding car. So a lot needs to happen for a cell to turn cancerous, and any cell in the body has the potential to become cancerous if, and then it lists these three things. These are the three things. It says, any cell in the body has the potential to become cancerous if it can divide. Ooh, that's deep. It builds up mistakes in certain genes. Yo, this going way left, like spiritual. It's not even about the body anymore. This is so spiritual, it don't even make no sense. And 3, these faults cause it to grow out of control. Even though there are many boxes to tick, accumulating DNA damage is the most fundamental part. Some of this damage is avoidable, such as that caused by smoking and drinking alcohol, while some isn't, such as the damage that comes from getting older. So even if we try and live as healthy as we can, many cells in our body still have the potential to become cancerous because of aging. That's a lie. Where our cells get worn down and don't work as well over time. That's a lie. What's true is, listen, the reason why I said this was spiritual is because the things of God are not the same as the things of man. So they mean something different. In a worldly sense, DNA means something different. But when we're talking spiritual, when we're talking about godly things and growing spiritually, DNA is just your thoughts, okay? And what this is saying is a cell that's capable of growing uncontrollably collects mistakes in its DNA code. Now let me translate that for y'all that don't catch on very well. A cell that's capable of growing uncontrollably collects mistakes in its thought coding. Moving on. Which cause a gene or set of genes to go awry. It causes your thoughts to go all over the place. If the cell also loses certain safety mechanisms, it pushes it towards cancer. I'm going to look up the definition of cancer itself, because that's kind of on my mind. And then it says, it's like cutting the brakes on a speeding car. Think about that in a spiritual sense. If you cut the brakes on a speeding car, what that would do to your thought process. You're going to hit a brick wall. It's like, moving on. So it says, so a lot needs to happen for a cell to turn cancerous. A lot needs to happen in your life for your thoughts to be so bad that it spreads like a cancer. I'm sorry, because I keep saying, I sound like somebody cool ass age. And any cell in the body has the potential to become cancerous if these 3 things happen. Now let's stay on the side of spiritual. It can divide. Are you dividing? Are you like a coming in the room dividing everybody? You always starting arguments. Y'all better listen. 2, it builds up mistakes in certain genes. Ooh, you not prospering, you not promoting prosperity in nobody else. All you doing is building up mistakes in the gene code, in the thought processes of yourself and other people. 3, These faults cause it to grow out of control. I don't even got to touch on that. That should be self-explanatory. And on that note, I'm going to share this video. It's an experiment that several people have done. You can look this up yourself. Watch the video. Then I'm going to get into the message. And then, I really hope that you're inspired by this and start to, kind of pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to how you react, how you process your thoughts, what you pour into other people, and what you allow other people to pour into you. I've been saying this, and I'm not the one. This is not my own personal pure thought. Somebody else said it first. I'm just repeating it. That is spiritual. That is something that's like a psychic attack. And this is not medical. I'm not a medical physician. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not giving medical advice. But this is spirit. This is more spiritual than we really think. And I think if a lot of people knew that cancer was more spiritual than anything, and my own personal belief, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. My own personal belief is that, the environment has to be set for this dis-ease to fester, to grow, just like in this experiment. Enjoy the video.
More, and I saw some people doing this experiment with rice, and I'm like, all right, this is a cheap, effective way to see if this works. And so I went ahead and tried it, got some rice, I boiled it, and then just put it in 2 separate containers, labeled one love, labeled one hate. And for the first week, if I didn't see any results, I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. But, I kept trying because they said it may take a while. And then after about a week and a half, I started seeing a little mold on the rice labeled hate. I got very excited, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep consistent with this. And after about 2 weeks, it started going faster and faster. Literally, you don't have to do much. You just put rice in a container, you hold the loved one, and you think positive thoughts. You think of just like stuff that makes you happy, you resonate with it, tell the rice you love it. I know it sounds ridiculous, and I felt ridiculous doing it, but in the name of science, you gotta do dumb shit sometimes. Anyway, so I did that, and then the hate one, same thing. If I had anything frustrating happening in my life, I just kind of put that energy towards that bottle of rice. The results kind of blew my mind, and I have like a whole new outlook on what I think about throughout the day. After that experiment, it put a lot of things in perspective for me. I'm a lot more aware now of what I put my attention towards.
Something that me and a friend of mine was talking about made me think about that. And she made a statement that everyone has a little bit of narcissism inside of them, or they have the ability to be a narcissist. Everybody, right? And I agreed. I was like, at first I was like, but yeah, everybody does. And that made me think, people. And just as we all have the ability to process and manifest the spirit of jealousy, the spirit of anger, the spirit of envy, the spirit of spite, we all got a little pettiness inside of us. But the thing is, you have to manifest those characteristics out into the world. And when you do that, when you make a sound decision to do that, what you're doing is affecting another person's spirit, the way they think. And the conversation just made me think about, yeah, we all have those cancer, quote unquote, cancer cells within us, things that manifest and fester up disease. We all have that in us, but being righteous and making righteous decision is the ability to notice those characteristics and decide you're not gonna manifest that into the earth and affect other people. You have to make a sound decision to not be angry, to not be envious, to not be jealous, to not be narcissistic. It's your choice. It's always your choice. That's why you save yourself, because it's always your choice. In every situation, it's your choice to make a sound decision whether or not you are going to act on those thoughts Or are you just gonna let them be thoughts?
And it's true. Like when you think about things that make you feel good and you reminisce about a happy memory or something, it kind of puts you in a state of bliss. For an example, when you think about negative things, things that bring you down, like there's those days where someone just pisses you off, you have an argument, and then, you go about your day, it kind of sticks with you, but then you get occupied with other things, and it kind of leaves for a little bit, and then you don't feel those negative emotions anymore. And then, later that night, you're finally getting ready for bed, and then you lay down, and then you're starting to relax, you feel good, you feel accomplished, excited for the next day, you're about to fall asleep. Some thoughts are running in and out of your head. You're just right there about to fall asleep. And then bam, that argument comes all over again, and then you start recreating it, and then you start creating a new argument in your head, like, oh, I should have said this, and you're like having these emotions that starting to build up. I know you've experienced them, because I have, we all have, and you're laying there all heated, your heart rate's starting to go, your blood vessels are constricting, you start clenching your fists. And the funny thing about that is it's all you.
See how that works? Nothing has to manifest in the earth. You could think a million things a day, but you don't have to manifest all of those things, all of those thoughts. That brings me to, y'all remember, I don't know, if when you were younger, you probably heard adults say, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. That's what that means. If you don't have a righteous thought, don't manifest that shit into the earth. Because what it does is affects another person, and then you affect the way they think, and now that's what causes people to become like other people. Well, if I got all these people being narcissistic towards me, I might as well join them. This is how the earth becomes saturated in cancer. It festers and it spreads. So I hope I inspired you to make the right decision, make the righteous choices, think again, and think one more time before you act on a thought that just ain't right.